I want to talk about this ridiculous. This all started from a fan yelling something. Now, immediately, the announcer said, "I'm very sorry for what I just heard. That does not belong here." So he instantly just made it that word. So, for those who don't know, a fan of the Colorado Rockies was yelling something. Now, the announcer thought it was the N-word. Obviously, if he was yelling the N-word, it would have been completely inappropriate and terrible. But it turns out it wasn't. This is the tweet that the Colorado Rockies, the statement: the Colorado Rockies are disgusted at the racial slur by a fan directed at the Marlins' Lewis Brinson during the 9th inning of today's game. Although the subject was not identified prior to the end of the game, the Rockies are still investigating this incident. The Rockies have zero tolerance for any form of racism or discrimination, and any fan using derogatory language of any kind will be ejected and banned from Coors Field. Okay. You know what? Sure. This is from Paul Severino. He was actually announcing the game. "I am absolutely disgusted at the language that was picked up by the mics late in the game today. The level of hate that was displayed has no place in this world. Unfortunately, it's still far too prevalent. We need to be better, and soon. Just awful." I love this. James Lindsay goes, "Have you considered calming down?" But this is the kicker. Keith Olbermann. I cannot stand this guy. I don't know if you know who Keith Olbermann is, but he has an absolute loathing for President Trump. He cannot stand you, me. He can't stand me because I'm a Trump supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, ooh, he does not like you. Shouting the N-word at a game? Where is the Rockies' statement on how they apprehended the racist and what they did to him? Where is the MLB's investigation? This is a private business and they are responsible for the conduct of their patrons. Oh my gosh. Dude, you need to relax. Here it is, The Federalist. Thank you. After a media run with the story of the Rockies fan yelling racial slur, evidence shows he was yelling at the mascot. That's right, the mascot's name, when yelled out, sounds fairly similar to the N-word, with a hard R. But it turns out that's what the fan was yelling. He was looking at the mascot and yelling his name to try to get a picture. Oh! And yet, the media ran with it. Now, that's essentially the story. I mean, this goes into talking about how the media is yelling, and then it turns out it was absolutely nothing. I got to give it up for the Colorado Rockies. Thank you for this statement. After a thorough investigation that included calls, emails, and video clips from concerned fans, media, and broadcast partners, the Colorado Rockies have concluded that the fan was indeed yelling for the Rockies mascot Dinger, or Dinger. I don't know exactly how to say it, but in hopes of getting his attention for a photo. And there was never any racial slur that occurred. The Rockies remain dedicated to providing an inclusive environment for all fans, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. You were wrong. Thank you for acknowledging that it wasn't actually a racial slur. So, okay. So, hey, Paul Severino, where's your recant? Nope, nothing. It's still the last tweet that he did was expressing anger about what happened, which didn't actually happen. Or what about Keith Olbermann? He doubles down. He talks about how, oh, well, they retweeted this. This whole story is really confusing. What really happened? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Keith Olbermann, you were wrong. and you know that you're a fearmonger, that you can't even admit when you were wrong. You were wrong, Keith Olbermann. Can you hear me? You were wrong. You haven't recanted, all right? Hey, when I'm wrong, I'll happily say, hey, I was wrong about that. Why? Because I want to be right, all right? Trust me. For those who remember when I was on Timcast IRL, I didn't like being told I was wrong, especially when I knew I was right, all right? So that's why I did my research. That's why I started digging into things, so I can know what I'm talking about. And when I was told I was wrong, I could be like, here's the facts that prove me right, because I like being correct. And if I'm wrong, please tell me, please inform me. And when I find out I'm wrong, I'm gonna let you know, hey, I was wrong about that. Or maybe delete the tweet and say, hey, I was wrong about that. That's why I deleted it. Keith Olbermann, you don't have the balls to delete the tweet. You don't have the balls to even acknowledge that you were wrong. You want that fear. He retweeted so many different people's anger about this. It's so lame. And and their statement from last night is still standing, uncorrected and unaddressed. So they've taken 3 different sides on this. They didn't take different sides. They said if it was, we've heard that it was a racial slur. Racial slurs are terrible, and we're investigating. And now, and they're disgusted at the fan. So then at least they came out and said, hey, it wasn't a racial slur. We found out the guy just wanted a picture. They didn't say sorry, which they should have. But of course, the key figures here on the talking heads, I can say, of the left, or I don't know if this guy, Paul Severino, is a talking head on the left, but he was the sports announcer that apologized right away on air. I'm sorry for those terrible words you just heard. Even though it wasn't terrible words, they were actually the mascot's name. Stupid.